Ini adalah rencana yang tiada tara. Terkadang rencana yang cerdik haruslah licik. Bukan begitu, nak?
Aku setuju denganmu, Paman.
Mari kita susun rencana
Dengan langkah dan sikap nan lihai,
Mataram berjaya dengan tipu daya. Rencana cerdik haruslah licik. Bagai ombak di tepi lautan, kita akan menunggu saat yang tepat.
mereka terkutuk, harus tunduk, harus takluk dengan segala cara. Jadi, kita akan berpura-pura takluk kepada mereka, Paman, agar mereka lengah. Maka, saat itu juga kita akan masuk dan menghabisi mereka.
Ya, itulah rencana aku, nak.
Aku suka dengan rencanamu ini, Paman. Ini dia sebuah rencana dengan akal yang tiada tara. Mataram berjaya dengan tipu daya. Rencana cerdik haruslah licik. Bagai cahaya di tengah gelap, kita akan menunggu saat yang tepat, Paman. Mereka terkutuk, harus tunduk, harus takluk dengan segala cara.
Wow, what an amazing performance. And yes, welcome back on the 2-Hour News Show. And that was a performance by the Broadway production. And this is just a glimpse of their Jejak Cinta Tanah Jawa.
That's right.
Yes, so how was that performance like, Indra?
Yes, it's Broadway feel in Indonesian. That was kind of interesting for me.
Yes, wayang this time.
Wayang, yes.
So once again, welcome. We have Rayhan,
Welcome,
also
welcome.
Gusti with us here on set. But before all of that, wayang and Broadway into this musical, can you please tell us from the beginning at first, what draws you into wayang or the love for on-set musicals?
Okay. My first time performing wayang itself was like when I'm in elementary school, around second grade. I was around like 7 or 8 years old. But first, when I created wayang, it was because our concern about the young generations, like leaving the Indonesian culture and everything. And yeah, so from there we started combining the wayang orang, the traditional wayang orang, with some newer culture, some modern culture, and then we make a new concept out of it to, like, bring the excitement to the young generations.
What about you, Rayhan?
Yeah, I think the wayang itself is already a culture that has been forgotten by the young people, especially if they are not looking forward or enjoying the traditional culture. So I think bringing it to musical concept makes people really into it and giving people more hope to bring culture to.
That's right.
Culture.
Yes, bring them closer to the culture.
Yeah, I find it's interesting. I mean, like wayang itself, a shadow puppet. Well, they're singing, but like it's a different kind of type of singing. So
That's
you
right.
bring it like into musical. That's kind of interesting. Now, before we go into deeper, like, can you guys tell me like how the journey so far, like casting to bring that performance into life? I mean, getting ready, the whole production. Like, can you give us an idea of like what are you guys have to face to get to this?
Okay,
point?
so we begin our process like writing the scripts and then trying to find the potential cast. It begins actually last year when we first wrote the script, and then make musics and etc. But we begin our casting audition in early March this year.
Yeah.
So it looks like the process goes on like for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then we've done an online audition.
Yep.
Through social media, Instagram, and everything.
Yeah.
So there's lots of experienced,
Quite
talented
surprising.
youngsters joining our audition. So yes, so the process takes actually like 2 weeks, and then we directly start the rehearsal, like music calls, dance calls, and then we start the staging later on.
And from the audition, we also get some really inspiring people, and they also have some experience in musical before. So when we bring in the wayang culture, they kind of make they excited in a way, because it's a different kind of musical that they already been doing.
Interesting.
And for the age group itself, what are the age ranges of the cast? And of course, the production crew
Of
as
course.
well.
I think the cast, it's around like, the youngest one is like 15 years old.
Yeah.
Right? One of them just performed there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
like
yeah.
15 to 16 years old. And then the oldest one is like,
There's someone that is almost 30.
oh, not 30.
But that is young.
38, 37.
Right,
Yes.
compared to us, that is young. Well, anyways, the theater or the musical which you will be performing this weekend, right,
Yep.
is called Jejak Cinta Tanah Jawa. Tell us, what is the meaning behind the title Jejak Cinta Tanah Jawa,
Okay.
and what inspired you to choose this theme?
Okay. So of course it's about romance, of course. How there's this one king in Java back in the ages, and then he kind of like lost his confidence of becoming a king after his father's death, and then he has the ambition to unite the entire Java, or more Nusantara, continuing the Sumpah Palapa of Gajah Mada. So basically, after the downfall of Majapahit, Java became separated, and then the central Java was led by this guy named Panembahan Senopati, which I will be playing, and then he kind of fall in love in the way
From
yes,
the other kingdom.
yeah, from the daughter of his enemy,
Yeah.
from East Java. So
okay.
that's kind of story about.
Right. No, that was interesting. I saw you like when you were singing. If I'm not mistaken, you were asking your uncle, the
Yes.
other characters, to
that's right.
kind of show you the way. But at the same time, you mentioned you're falling in love. So beside being a producers and directors, you also playing the character. Is it Senopati?
Panembahan Senopati.
So can you tell us more about the characters itself?
Okay.
I mean, again. You have to teach me some history,
Okay.
because you're talking about palapa, greeting,
I
and
know,
all this
it's more
stuff.
like
So
a
like, so
lesson
we have
there.
an idea when
Yes.
when we walk in and like, all right, I know what to expect a little bit.
Okay, so basically, Panembahan Senopati, like I said before, he kind of lost his confidence, right, to be a king, and then his uncle, actually, who is the mastermind of the kingdom, sets a plan for him to easily unite the island of Java, which step by step. The first step is to conquer the East Java first, and during the process, he kind of fall in love with the
Daughter
daughter
of
of the other kingdom. So that's basically what happened. And then I don't want to spoil the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just
So yeah,
gonna-
that's all we can say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we can, sing along, have fun, but while we learn history as well,
Yes,
because it's
that's
based
right.
on a true story.
Hold on. So am I gonna learn the history while you guys doing the performance?
Of course.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
great.
There you go. There's something we have to do
I don't
this
need to ask AI like, all right, I'm gonna watch this show. Tell me about history so I'm not going blind.
No, AI cannot do this work for you.
All right.
But speaking of learning history, because this, of course, requires research, right? And then you have to learn all these characters and understand their emotional position as well, their deeper understanding. Can you please tell us, how was that process like? What is the biggest challenge in producing musikal, the Jejak Cinta Tanah Jawa?
Okay, so we actually done the research since last year. So we went to Jogja, to the cemetery of the Panembahan Senopati himself, near the Kraton, and then we talked with the locals, and then from the one who's known the history from before, and then so we talk with them, we chat, more like a spiritual side of the story. So we know, and then most of the script is based on what they actually said in the what do you call it, the books that they wrote back in the days.
Okay.
So most dialogues and monologues and everything, besides the song, right? So the one that you will hear in the show tomorrow will mostly had been said by the Panembahan Senopati himself back in the days.
Their actual quotes.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
What,
right.
what about for you, Rayhan? What is the biggest challenge for you?
I think to make this musical performance and actually bring the culture towards other people, it's really interesting because we have to mix in this between musical that is so Western to combine it with the culture of our culture, I mean the Japanese culture. So I think that's one way of to see it. And with the performing of the art, I think one of the most challenging is how we transition or translate the actual story towards the how we perceive the story, like how we make them understand what actually going on. I think that's really interesting.
No, I was wondering, you guys, is this the first project you guys worked together? Have you worked on other projects before, and then how was it, and then how is it different than this time around?
So, me and Rayhan is our second production together.
Oh, okay.
The last one was in February this year. But for Broadwayang itself, it's gonna be my 5th production with Broadwayang, and then we count as a new community or
Community.
what do you call it?
Production
A new
house.
production house.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to find our perfect concept. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So we're still experimenting. So the show tomorrow is going to be different. It will be different from each of our 4 production before.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to find the.
We're still in the kind of introducing phase.
Yes.
Yeah, the introducing phase, the introduction phase.
Yep. So.
So for the shows, it is on this weekend. Can you please tell us more about that? When can we catch it?
Okay, so the show is going to be tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
So the first show is going to be in 1 p.m. and the second show will be at 4 p.m.
Where will it be?
In Teater Bulungan, Jakarta.
Okay.
Okay.
And for the tickets,
Yeah,
because probably
right.
people watching, and of course, we both want to learn history as well. Can we
Okay.
still get the tickets?
Unfortunately, it's sold out already.
Wow, it's not unfortunately for you guys. It's good news for you guys. Congratulations, it's sold out for all of the shows.
For all the shows. For all the shows.
So you guys not gonna add more dates on that, or like show again later that night maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe if there is a lot of
Like
people that want
demand.
to watch
Yes.
again.
Yeah, we could make a rerun of it.
Oh, rerun. Interesting.
Yeah.
But speaking of future productions, or probably a rerun for Jejak Cinta Tanah Jawa, can you please tell us, as you mentioned before, although this is still the introduction phase of Broadwayang, what is your vision or your hope for the future?
Okay. For me, I hope Broadwayang can be maybe more like production that carries always carries the traditional cultures, and then I hope that the younger generations will kind of have the connection between the modern musicals and the wayang orang itself. So that's what I'm kind of hoping though.
But since, as you mentioned before, there is also a production before this. How was the feedback like, Rayhan? Because there are younger, casts, and of course there are the audiences from a younger generation. How was their feedback like?
They are more, I think, intrigued in this kind of new way of musical, because in these days, musical is kind of popping off in Indonesia, but it's not really a lot that can bring up the culture of Java itself, or maybe Indonesia culture in general.
Yeah.
So I think most of the cast or even the crew, they give an interesting take on what we show towards the culture itself. So I think it can bring people a lot of attention, and then make people more aware about our culture itself.
All right. Well, it's interesting. I still have so many questions, but I guess just have to watch the show to understand better. I mean, like, it's such an unfortunate. I mean, you guys practice and do all that preparation, and only doing 2 shows. I believe you guys need to do more so we can actually catch more of the show.
We might.
We might. Yes, you have to. We'll be waiting for it. And I'm pretty sure the viewers are waiting for you guys as well. But nevertheless, guys, break a leg for tomorrow's show.
Thank you
We'll
very
be
much.
looking forward to more production from Broadwayang. Thank you, Mika and Rayhan.
Thank you for being on the show. All right, we are going for another break.
Yes, because after the break, of course, we'll be bringing more updates for you here on the 2 Hour News Show, so don't go anywhere.